I realize that the world doesn't talk much about faith, about the supernatural, about prayer, about things of God that much. In the corporate world, especially, we don't talk about such things. The key word in the corporate world is strategic planning. We keep planning, and when we fail, we plan again using different strategies. But in the things of God, the key word is faith. We have to walk by faith. The Word of God says, and now faith is the assurance of the things hoped for, the confidence of things not seen. It is by faith that the ancients received God's approval, and it is impossible for anyone to please God without faith. Reading the story of Abraham sacrificing his only son Isaac, I learned a lesson that we should continue trusting the Lord even when He doesn't make sense. There are things God will ask us to do as we walk with Him that will never make sense. It didn't make sense to Abraham that God was asking him to sacrifice his only son after getting him when he was 100 years and his wife was 90 years old. Only son, promised of God, and now you're being told you will go or you have to go and sacrifice him. But now the key word is faith. Trust God anyway. The wisest man who ever lived said, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your paths straight." So does that mean that we should not seek understanding? No. It says trust in the Lord and lean not on your own understanding. That means that you have sought for understanding and you have found it, but you're now being told do not lean on your own understanding. So will the Lord, or can the Lord, ask us to do things that will not make sense? As I said, yes. What do we have to do? Do it even when we doubt. I think Abraham himself might have doubted, might have had questions, but he decided, let me solve those problems as I look to the Lord. I don't want to ask the Lord questions. I don't want to cast doubt in what the Lord has said. Instead, I'm going to trust him. And we are being admonished and exhorted of the Lord to keep trusting him, to keep even encouraging others through our words and through our deeds to trust him. He is faithful. When I came in to do this a little center here, this place, there was nothing, and I had just little amount of money. It was nothing I could even say I had. But the Lord, who is faithful, continued providing. As Abraham said, in the mountain of the Lord, he will provide. His son asked him, "Hey, Dad, we have the fire, we have the firewood, but where is the animals for sacrifice?" He said, "God will provide." Abraham was convinced that God is able to bring back the son even after he is dead. And he also was sure that God would provide an alternative. He could use all the different kinds of methods, and he used one of them. While he was when he had lifted the knife, almost about to sacrifice his son, he saw a ram in a thicket, caught in a thicket, and he went and sacrificed the ram and not his son. And that is why he proclaimed Jehovah Jireh, the Lord will provide, or on the mountain of the Lord, he will provide. So he has asked you to start a business venture, go on and start it. In the mountain of the Lord, he will provide. Are you sick and you're trusting God for healing? In the mountain of the Lord, he will provide. Are you trusting God for school fees or an opening for college or a spouse or whatever you're trusting the Lord? Go ahead. trust the Lord. As far as he has said, he will provide. He is a covenant-keeping God. He doesn't just give promises, he answers our prayers and fulfills his promises according to his mercy and according to his grace. And with that, I want to say, Shalom, the Lord bless us. Amen.